Oh, yeah. Here we are, live on YouTube. And we have a saying around here at Systematic Geekology: everybody geeks out on something. And so we're going to put it to the test tonight, and we're going to say, yeah, we're geeking out on sports. It's March Madness. So, what better time to geek out on sports? And I have some of my favorite geekologists here with me who I know are sports fans. And we've shared before that when it comes to fandom in the geek world of like sci-fi and fantasy and Lord of the Rings and comic books and all those things, fandom can get kind of crazy. They cosplay at conventions. They toxic behavior happens when their team when something is portrayed in a way that they don't agree with on the big screen or small screen. The message boards can light up and go crazy in the comment section there in the geek world. There's fractions between Star Wars, Star Trek, and who's better, who was first, who's the original. Or guess what? That also happens in sports. You have big fandoms. You got cosplayers who wear like their favorite baseball team jersey on places, and the message boards. When a coach gets fired, people have opinions, or if they lose out of the first round of March Madness for the second year in a row, then coaches get fired, and then there's thoughts on whether they should or shouldn't, and the message boards light up. And so, yeah, there's similarities between geeky fans that cosplay at comic book conventions and those who gather at sporting events and cosplay their favorite sports. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have fun. Jill, Leah, and I are going to just dive into some March Madness and share what we geek out most about sports, some of our favorite teams, some of our favorite players, our favorite sporting events, how we were raised around sports, and then, how do we see the future of sports? What is, who are we going to pull for the rest of this March Madness if their team is already out? Seems to me that every team I pull for loses. So I'm going to start pulling for Duke and see what happens. There you go. All right. Well, welcome, Leah, Jill. How are we feeling tonight?
I mean, based on that intro, I'm just thinking about the Big Ten and how they're all just posers. But
that's why you're on this episode. Jill, how you feeling? You feeling the March Madness?
I wish I was feeling more March Madness. This is like the time I start to pay attention to college basketball. Seasons are long, so I can only do playoffs for everything except baseball. So I'm excited for March Madness. But most importantly, today is the first day of regular season MLB.
There we go. Yeah.
162 games under my belt.
All right. If I remember correctly, you're a LA Dodgers fan. Not to give any spoilers for later on. Is that what I remember?
That is correct. You only have to know me for about 5 seconds to know that.
Yep. So fun. Well,
also, Arsenal's about to win the Premier League. No big deal.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm international that way. Well,
yeah, we'll talk about American sports, international sports. We'll do that. We'll do all that. And I'm you're watching on YouTube. My challenge to you out there who are watching, listening, have us in the background because you have other things you can do and just want to hear us talk sports. You're going to smash that like button and you're going to share with a friend and you're going to hit subscribe. And the deal is that if we can get this particular YouTube video to 50 likes, I will wear a shirt that says Duke isn't that bad on Franklin Street during the national championship game if we get 50 likes. That's a challenge. So get your friends out there. I will video record it and see what people throw at me or yell at me when I walk down Franklin Street here on the campus of UNC. That's a deal.
Well,
I'm making now.
Out, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I can't believe when I set this up for us to do this, I was like, March Madness, Sweet 16, maybe we'll keep going. I was ready, but that's all right. But there's things to pull for. We'll see what happens. So as we geek out around sports, I needed we talk about our favorite IPs when it comes to the geeky world. We talk about our relationship with it and our experience with it, and the first time we experienced, or first time we watched Back to the Future or the first Star Wars movie we saw, and those kinds of things. What is some of how were you raised around sports? Did your family have a team? Did you have a favorite team growing up? Did you deconstruct and turn your back on that team and choose a new one? I'm curious about kind of how you were raised around sports. We'll start with you. We'll go around the horn. counterclockwise than Leah, and then me. So yeah, how were you raised, and how does that relate to sports?
I was raised to love all sports. My dad had two boys, and then our family's blended. There was a 16-year gap, and then I came, and he only knew how to raise boys and how to coach baseball and football and soccer. And so I was in anything that had a ball. I played always. And love of the Dodgers is a family inheritance. My grandparents, the only thing I ever remember being on their TV was like the news if we were at war or Dodgers baseball games. That's it. And we love it. And I love it. I always say my first love was the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like I fell in love with the game, but I fell in love with the players. I remember being little, like elementary school when they won in 1988 and like celebrating with my mom at Kirk Gibson's walk-off home run. Like my best memories are Dodger memories. And then I have carried that forward with my own kids reluctantly. Like they came dragging their feet, but now all three of them are on board. They love the Dodgers as well. So I love all sports, baseball, a little bit more, Dodgers, even more.
Nice. So you did play. You said you did play baseball too. Like you were.
I did.
You
I played
play?
softball. Yeah. It
Yeah.
was like a area and a time where I wasn't really encouraged to play baseball. I probably would have liked that more than
We
softball.
can't be trusted with a baseball, Will. We have to have a softball. As the girl who also played softball.
Soft. Yeah. There you go.
I really.
See, the
But,
lights
like,
went out. The
nothing-
lights went out when you made that comment. My
I
office
was gonna
lights
say
went out.
that was
What
more
happened?
dramatic than I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. You played softball as well, Leah?
I did, and I didn't really
What
understand.
position?
I was first base. Yeah. I was a infield. I like infield. I loved first base. I was a tall, lanky, no
Got it.
longer, but at one stage I was that. Sorry, you've been subjected to Will.
Cheers, J. Petty. Cheers.
Same. Yeah, I know. So I played softball at first, but I did later. I found it interesting that for some reason we had a bigger, sort of more aggressive ball, and that was supposed to be what made girls' sports less intense. Is that you made the ball bigger and
Under.
more like
Yeah.
yeah.
And wasn't it like how you pitch it? It was kind of underhanded, but
Yeah,
eventually
more
that
underhand.
but then the underhand got whipped. There is like it's faster than a regular baseball.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll chime in and say that I was the kid that struck out in t-ball, and so my parents learned real soon around t-ball that I was not going to be a baseball player. So I was a good swimmer, so they threw me in the pool, and I was a year-round swimmer. So that was that was my thing. I was the kid that struck out
Oh,
in
you
t-ball.
went to fancy high school though.
I know. It was like a year-round thing down at the coast, get those swimming. But if I ever had an autobiography, I think I would name it "The Kid Who Struck Out in T-Ball," and then never talk about sports or T-ball at all. But that's just the title. That's kind of my.
Yeah, that's
I think that's a
perfect.
bit that I'll do. Leah, how about you? All right, how were you raised around sports? The teams you're around, you still loyal to those teams? I think I know the answer to this, but let's see what happens. Let's see what
I was gonna
happens.
say I feel like this has been done, but yeah. You know what I hate Georgia, really? Just the whole state. You can
Oh
go-
wow, wow. I hear lightning. I hear lightning.
Right, your lights just went off again.
Yeah.
Well, basically. Yeah, I know. Of course, I was raised in sports. My parents were giant humans, and so they loved basketball. It was actually it was a sport I played throughout high school. I was on varsity, but it wasn't my favorite sport, to be fair. And I think this maybe upset them in that way. We were raised Georgia strong, so Braves, UGA, Falcons to an extent. No one really cared about the professional sports. But my weird thing is professional basketball, as people know, is we can talk about later, is the Celtics. Yeah, I was.
Nice.
Yeah, we were a Celtics fan. Was it because that one white guy played on Boston? No, I don't think it was that. I think there was something that was that. I mean, it might have been. I inherited it, so I claim some stuff, and I'm like, this one I don't claim. I just inherited it. yeah, and then when I moved to the UK, I became a really big Arsenal fan. Sorry to my
Fun.
husband, but yay
Wow.
for us this season. So, in
Love
terms
it.
of college basketball, well, I mean, I do the brackets, but like, you should know based on my geographical area, we are not great. I remember when I first taught in the North Carolina school system, they were like, "Who do you support, Duke or UNC?" And I was like,
I know. It's a loyalty. It's almost like what religion do you practice?
right."
What
And I
side
was
are you
like,
on? Yeah.
so I will say this year, Duke is in my boys bracket is winning.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
And then
no. It's a smart move.
UNC in my girls bracket's winning. So there you go.
They're still in it. UNC women, they're still in it. They're in Sweet 16. Yeah, I was raised on the East Coast of North Carolina, and so all North Carolina schools. My dad is a UNC grad, so I was brainwashed Carolina blue, and just grew up around North Carolina football and basketball, and come ACC tournament time and March Madness, it was like everything stopped and your whole world revolved around it. So yeah, definitely ACC sports and those rivalries go deep with me. And so even when I interviewed here at Holy Trinity, they were like, all right, part of the interview process, like, who do you pull for in college basketball? And I'm like, look, I'm not saying this to get the job. I'm like being like completely honest. I learned all my cuss words from watching my dad watch Carolina basketball, and I tried not to pass that on to my kids, but I did. So it's one of those things where like I'm pretty passionate. Even so much like when Coach K was coaching the USA Olympic basketball team, it was hard for me to pull for America. I was like, I don't want Coach K to have another win. Can we get the bronze medal instead of the gold? Can we at least do that? So it's very unhealthy, and I definitely am self-aware about that.
Oh god, it's so unhealthy. Do your girls support UNC?
Yeah, they do. I mean, they just growing up around, because we were in South Carolina for a while when they were growing up, when they were younger, because my wife was at school at South Carolina. So Gamecock fans too. Another Carolina. We pull for that too.
Firm no.
Firm no. I know it's hard. In the Clemson, South Carolina loyalties, we're South Carolina, but the.
Well, they both lose all the time.
But being here in middle school and high school around Carolina sports and going to games and storming Franklin Street when we win national championships and those kinds of things, definitely got into their system. So yeah, they're definitely a part of that hype. But I also grew up, I did like the church league basketball and some soccer and some sports, but really the swimming. I was at Thanksgiving with some family that I hadn't seen in a long time. They're like, William, when you were a baby, I remember just going down to the beach and with your mom, and before you could even walk, you were crawling to the water and it didn't scare you, and you jump in the water and we had to get up and scoop you out because you didn't care. You were like face was underwater and we had to scoop you up. And so I've just never been afraid of water. I've been a water bug my whole life. So year-round swimming and being a swimmer and loving the Olympics was a big part of that too. And then surfing. And we'll talk about surfing as a professional sport as well here in a little bit. We talk about favorite sports, but yeah, that's kind of my history.
You're going to talk about surfing as a professional sport is almost like me talking about Georgia as being the best team of all time.
Yeah, that's right. It's very comparable. Maybe we'll see. I'm interested to do a pop quiz to see if you guys know any like famous surfers and see any surfer names.
Kelly Slater.
All right, Jill, you win. Yeah, there you go. Leah, do you know who Kelly Slater is?
I do.
Okay.
That's probably the only one I know.
Good. Well, that's the one. That's the GOAT. 11-time world champ. We're the same age. He's 53 or 54. I'm 53. Yeah, and he's still doing it. Very, very fun. Cool. So, so let's move on. So that's kind of our history. I think we kind of share a little bit about our favorite, but our favorite sports to geek out on. Before we get to teams, I mean, is it like where your loyalties, if you had to pick one out of all of them, surfing, basketball, golf, professional skateboarding, snowboarding, all the X sports. Where do you choose them? Baseball, softball, soccer. What favorite sports to geek out on? Leah, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, snowboarding for sure.
Nice.
No, I talked my BFF who I do a podcast with is from Colorado, and it's so funny to talk about the Winter Olympics because I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like,
It's so fun.
It's the best. The
I
Olympics are
know,
the best.
but I will say, like, as someone who didn't do, like, I dated a guy from Michigan too who was big into hockey, and I was like, it seems like you're torturing yourself right now, and I know it's not true, but I was like, everything that is cold feels torturous. Anyway, what is the one that I would? I mean, it's UGA football, I guess, is my main. I mean,
Yeah.
forever and never, like Kirby Smart and Kirby We Trust. Like, I mean, I think that's it. My second, I would say, I do have my Brave shirt on because we're in the season. That was the one that's the nostalgia one for me, and I feel like baseball for a lot of people is nostalgia, and not in like a cutesy way, but just like, I can remember we lived about an hour and 45 minutes north of Atlanta when the Braves were actually in Atlanta, she says. And so we would go, and it was like a huge event. Like, it was like a big thing. And I think it's even out with the Georgia games, it was the thing we did the most. Like, there was not a season we didn't go down. And to go to the, quote, big city was a really big deal. And, we just loved the Braves. And it was, Jill, to your point about the Dodgers, I'm sure it was kind of the same. It's like, it's just such a nice atmosphere. Like, I've been to a lot of atmospheres that are really like aggressive and whatever. And I feel like baseball is like, I've never been to a game where people are like fighting or duking it out. Like, you're just having a good time. And like, I don't know. I feel like the stakes are lower. When I go to a UGA game, I feel like the stakes are really high and we're like really stressed about it. And like the Braves games, I'm like, they'll have 35 million other games and this is okay. And like, I'm just going to eat my popcorn and whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, it's like you can tune out just a little bit and then tune back in when you're ready and have conversations with family and friends and that kind of thing. That's kind of fun. But then I wonder if the vibe is a little different if it's like Game 7 of the World Series and there's like a packed out. I'm sure it's aggressive and there's fights in the parking lot for sure.
I don't think. Well, I'm not speaking for anyone else. But we couldn't afford those games. So
I'm sure.
We were in the middle early season.
Yeah. Yep. Jill, I think you share by the in terms of baseball, that's at the top. Any others that some of your favorite sports that you get on?
Yeah, when I was like middle school age, maybe 11 or 12, I came to Arizona for a softball tournament, and the Suns were in the playoffs. This was like early 90s, and like every bar restaurant that we went to in Phoenix was like crazy for the Suns. Like, we really ride hard for our home team, but especially in the 90s, which I wasn't living here. I was in LA. And I remember watching, I think it was like Dan Marley, is maybe before Charles Barkley, but he could have just gotten here, and just falling in love with the Suns. So if we're talking live sports, like, I only get to see the Dodgers here a couple times a year, but I'll go to Suns games as much as I can. And then I worked for Dan Marley when I first moved to Arizona, and he has this little bar. It's like within walking distance of the arena, and I was a server there, and the bar is like packed before the game, and then it's empty. And there would always be these like engineers, these nerdy engineers that would come in, and they'd want to take a pretty girl to the baseball game with them or the basketball game with them. And so I'd ask, like, hey, Dan, can I go to the game? He's like, sure, you just be back before fourth quarter. So I went to like almost every home game on the arm of some nerdy engineer, and it was the time of my life.
That's
I'm
good.
Literally obsessed with that story.
That is good.
Everything.
It was very fun to live. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool. I love that.
Yeah. So live, I love the Suns. And I also really love live hockey. We don't have a professional team here anymore, but I'll go to ASU games when I can.
Cool. Nice.
I've never been to a hockey game. Isn't that wild?
It's so fun live, Leah. Like, it's really cool.
Literally, people have told me that because we have the Hurricanes, bad name, I shall say, for North Carolina.
Hey, it's 30 minutes from me. 30 minutes from me.
Yeah. Will keeps promising me.
Hey, we should meet Jay Petty there. I don't know if he's still on here, but like, he's a big hockey fan. We should meet up and do a Hurricanes game. We should do that. That'd be fun. We'll make that happen.
We should. Although you did promise to take me to a UNC Duke game. Those tickets are probably pretty cheap, though, right? I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. Well, I know people. I know the band director at UNC who sometimes gives me tickets. And when he says,
But
"You
I've
want to go
never
see
been to
Carolina
I've never
Duke?"
been to a
I'm like,
hockey
"Yeah."
game. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to a few, and the hype is real around here. And I do like. I wish I could go more, but I don't have tickets. That kind of stuff. I don't understand the game as much. But definitely when the Hurricanes make the playoffs, you can feel the energy here in the Triangle, and people are glued to TVs, and I'll watch and pay attention when it comes around to that. So, yeah, mine is like I love college basketball. I love basketball, and I love pulling for my favorite ACC players. And then eventually, when they go to the pros, I'll pull for those teams. I like the Carolina teams. I like the Panthers. I like the Hornets. I like my ACC schools. But mainly when get my favorite college players when they go off and play in the pros, then we'll follow them and do that. So, I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, with the same high school that Michael Jordan went to. He graduated in '81. I graduated in '91, but I got to watch him, play college basketball, and then eventually it was appointment television to watch him play for the Bulls. Growing up in the '90s and early 2000s, so that's something that we really followed and grew up at the beach. Yeah, I remember going, I grew up swimming and surfing, so I loved the Summer Olympics, just watching the swimming, and loved the Olympics in general. But then getting into surfing and reading the magazines and following the pros and following my favorite surfers. And then they had a local pro contest in Wilmington, the Record Bar Pro in 1984. And as a 12-year-old watching the pros in the water, I was hooked. And so I've been following pro surfing. The new season starts next week in Australia, the World Surf League. Yeah, you have the NBA, you have the MLB, you have the NFL. Well, you have WSL, World Surf League, and they're starting the leg over there in Australia Easter weekend at Bells Beach, and so they're going to kick that off, and then they'll go through the whole season and end with the Bonsai Pipeline in December in Hawaii. So it's fun to follow the events and watch it on TV and see who's doing good and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Here's a question, Will. How good do you think you were at surfing? And I can ask this for all of us. Is like because I was like pretty good at basketball, but I was 5'8", which is incredibly short for basketball. Like that was not something that was going to happen. But like, do you think like it sounds like we all played sports, which is a different thing. Like, did we think that we were? I personally had no, and this is not me being
making a vocation out of it, making a vocation out of professional sport.
Yeah, you know what I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah, so when I was swimming year round, it was like high school when I was like, do I want to swim an extra 5 practices a week, like in the mornings and on the weekends, and land exercises to see if I could get a scholarship to go to college. And I didn't have that bandwidth with me. Also, I was surfing a lot more, started dating, I had distractions. And so then I did surf some contests. I did win some contests. I went to the regionals. I almost made it to the East Coast Championships. There was a point when I was thinking like maybe I want to keep doing this, but then there's a couple things in life that doors closed. I was like, I'm gonna have to work really hard and dedicate my whole life to this. Maybe homeschool and travel, and that wasn't like in the cards. And so like college, be a pastor one day, those kinds of things. Those doors opened rather than the professional surfing. But like I still, yeah, I can handle myself in the water. I'm not. I don't want to humble brag, but like I feel like
this is your point.
Please do.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are all gonna humble brag here. Like,
yeah,
you're afraid.
Like I feel like I couldn't surf like the big wave stuff in like Nazare, like the 40-foot waves and like big barreling pipeline. I would need to log in some experience time to get out there and do that. But in terms of East Coast and around the world, I feel like you gave me any surfboard, any wave, I could probably surf it.
Okay, come on.
Yeah,
Now.
I'm so impressed right now.
Yeah, and in fact, I have a sabbatical coming to me this summer, and so May through August, I have a 3-month sabbatical, and we're looking at places where we travel and looking at waves and stuff. And then I talked with high school friends yesterday. There's a wave pool in Virginia Beach. It's called Atlantic Surf Park, and so not only do you have the ocean waves in the ocean and what happens with that, but they're now like wave pool technology is really good. You can look up Kelly Slater's wave pool, and that technology is beautiful, consistent waves. And so we're going to go in June and surf this wave pool. I can't wait. And so, but even there, you could click on like intermediate, advanced, extra advanced, and stuff. So I was looking at that to see like, oh, I want to try this, I want to try that, and try that. So yeah, I don't. I can't wait to to surf it. I'm
Also,
looking my check.
sabbaticals don't come to you; you earn them.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's been a whole 7 years. I had one in 2019.
There you go.
Then COVID happened, so I'm gonna do this one. We'll see what happens after this. I don't know. Yeah, I can hold my own in the water. I feel confident in the water. I have some friends and connections through Wrightsville Beach who did go on to be professional surfers, and we still hang out and talk some and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Good. Yeah. Thanks for that question. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the other things like, do you have, there's, I do like golf too. Started playing golf in the seminary. A friend of mine played college golf, and he got me to golf. I got the bug, and I don't play as much as I used to, but I do love golf, and I do love watching golf from time to time. But the majors, like the Masters and others, I'll follow. So I think for me, the top three: surfing, basketball, golf, and I do like football. And we'll follow professional and college football, but that's
Is
kind of where I
golf
rank.
maybe the most boring sport in the whole world?
Yes, it can be, but it's like intricacy. When you understand it and they hit a shot, you're like, what are they going to do next? And they're the lure. They got in the rough. How are they going to get out of this mess? Oh, are they going to make that putt? It's like it's the lure of what's going to happen next. Same like, is 4th down and 1? Are they going to make it? Let's go to commercial. You hang and you can't wait to watch. Like there's some things around golf and surfing is very boring too. Like watch 4 guys or 4 women in the. I tell you right now, women's surfing, professional surfing, has hit like a crescendo of some of the best surfing right now are done by like these young prodigy teenagers that are just absolute rippers. It's so fun to watch. But like if you watch professional surfing, they're in the water and you're just waiting for a wave. Very, very boring to just watch people bobbing up and down the water. But when a set wave comes, you're like, what are they going to do? Who has priority? How are they going to get scored on this wave? And then when they surf it, you're like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that was a 7.7. And the judges think it's a 6. I'm like, wait a minute. Like but that kind of thing as I watch it. And the golf is similar to me when it comes to that. But yeah, I can definitely understand why people think it's boring. Jill, what do you think is the most boring sport out there? Other than golf. What is boring?
Well,
curling. We love curling.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We just watched the Winter Olympics, and I tried so hard to understand curling. I just don't get it. It's not entertaining to me.
Except when they cheat. Did you see the cheating stuff with the Canadians?
The cheating?
Oh yeah, no, the Canadians of all people in the world. Jill, I will let you tell it
that's all I saw was a headline of there's some scandal.
They were like pushing the. So it was. I think it was the Norwegians. I think
the Rock. Isn't it the Rock?
NASCAR, Josh says, which is fair. I've never.
Oh, so boring.
So boring. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these are like you drink at these events, but the curling there was apparently the there were some Swedes or Norwegians, I don't know, Nordic people. Sorry for my gross generalization, but some people up there were like, some of these other people up here are cheating, and so they set up a camera, and you could see him, and there's like a little meme of him pushing, because he pushed the little like rock.
Dude, when you get memed for cheating in curling, that's a whole nother level. Like how do you get famous in curling? Well, here's how you get famous in curling.
I poked the rock.
It just showed his finger. He just pushed it, and I was like, "You have a sport that
beep. No, throw the flag. What do you do?"
Right, there's nothing to look at except what you're doing. So the idea that you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not like you can kind of like do some razzle dazzle and like push it forward, but he did, and so it was pretty bad. But I was like, truly, you have the most boring sport, and you just which maybe made it more interesting. He might be a reality TV star now. I don't know.
And so what would you say is the most exciting? Let's flip side it. Like, I mean, baseball is when there's, there's 2 outs, three balls, 2 outs, and bases are loaded. There's a certain element, but to get to that point, it takes a lot. It's exciting.
And that's
Game
not
7.
why I love it.
Yeah.
It's not an exciting sport normally.
But like, what would you?
Basketball is probably the most exciting live sport.
Yeah.
There's always something happening. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like basketball as live sport. I go to the Charlotte Hornets, and I really enjoy.
I haven't been invited to one of those games yet, but I'm waiting.
Well, but also, Will and I are just gonna fight.
That's true.
Just dad-daughter fight right now. So, but I do think if you don't know it, so like my husband's Scottish, and so he didn't grow up with basketball. He finds basketball not that exciting, whereas he Josh. No one's gonna like hockey. Let's be
No, we like hockey. I'm with you, Josh, but only live.
My bad.
On TV, it's not exciting. It's super exciting live.
Josh, we got to go to a Hurricanes game. Take Leah, and then you can teach us all. We would invite Jill too, but she's in Arizona. But if you want to travel to see a Hurricanes game, come on, we'll do it. When Theology Beer Camp's in North Carolina, you will do it.
Bill's point is on point. Is this idea of what is exciting in person?
Right.
I feel like watching it on TV. I think there is a difference for sure. And I think hockey seems to be really exciting in person.
Yeah.
Which I've not seen in person, so I'm willing to. But anyway, I would say for me, it's basketball. I really like that, but I played it too, and maybe that's a factor in it as well.
Because you get it.
You get it. And
maybe that's part of experiencing it and living it.
Is that my husband is from Scotland. Basketball is not really a thing. And so when he went, he was like, I don't really know what they're doing. And I was like, that could make it less exciting if you didn't know the rules. You didn't know what was actually happening. But
yeah, that's interesting. I think you bring up a point, in terms of going just a little deeper with sports. It's it's one thing to watch, it's one thing to experience in community, and then there's another thing when you actually play and understand it and visualize yourself. If I was in that situation, what would I do? Which is why I love surfing. I check the waves every day on the wave cams and think about when I'm going to get back down the beach. And I chase hurricane waves and do all that stuff. But watching pro sports, those pros are doing stuff that I can never do. But I envision myself on the wave and what perhaps I could do in that situation, that kind of dance improv on the ocean. But same way with football, basketball, baseball, what you've played. Yeah.
Your point, if you were to do surfing, I would be you look amazing, but I have no idea what they're judging. I don't know what the points are. What are the points?
Yeah, how would you judge it? That kind of thing. Yeah, Cindy will do that too, to watch some pro surfing. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this guy's air. Look at that, alley-oop he just did at that section. And she's like, that looks kind of the same as we did last time. I was like, no, it's not the same. Look at the...
I'd be rooting for you. I'd be like, yay, Will. I'd be like, I have no idea if he did well or not.
Yeah. That's why we got to have Theology Beer Camp near the coast, so we can do Will row surf lessons for folks. That's what
they keep doing in the middle.
I know. One of these days we'll do it.
Yeah, Josh, you're listening. They keep doing it in the middle.
Closer to Jill.
Coastal.
That's right.
Will, you brought up something really important about sports I think about all the time, and it's the communal aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel really sad because I have left a traditional church experience, and it's actually my best friend Shalene that reminds me all the time, oh no, baseball's your church. You actually do have that, and it's this place where you go and you have a shared experience with strangers. Sometimes you know them, sometimes you don't, of believing in something greater than yourself. And you experience joy together, you experience defeat together, you're comforting one another when it doesn't go your way. Or you're I'm a Dodger fan in Arizona Diamondbacks country. So there's also a little bit of joking and razzing that happens back and forth. But it's genuinely a really enjoyable experience because of the community part.
Yeah, I love that.
It is sort of my religion.
And it can be liturgical too. You have chants, you have your team songs, you have the seventh inning stretch, you have the wave going around of certain things. And so to go to a UNC game, the cheerleaders and the band is cheering you on, and there's certain things they're saying out loud that people are chiming in around with you with. And so there's a learning curve, with anything too. You go to church, new community, what does this mean? Where am I going? Where do I sit? Where do I stand? Same way with sports too. There's a learning curve, and that's what makes some sports like really intriguing. That you're always learning something new about how the game is played, or who comes next to show you a level that you haven't seen before, or a coach does something in a different way. So yeah, I love that analogy of kind of communal experience. Leah?
Yeah, and Josh was on Josh Patterson of Rethinking Faith was on our podcast Theology on the Rocks, and it's almost like we have too many podcasts, but whatever.
We got a lot. There's
There
a
are
lot
quite
of
a few.
There are a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few. But anyway, we were talking about this exact thing, which is this idea of like maybe humans just want community in whatever way we can find it, and there's common themes. Religious sociologists of religions have talked about things like music and the sort of really like the sort of stuff that makes us feel like what is it that makes us like get so excited and like clutch our chests and like I feel like a lot of these different things, whether it's church, well, this, whether it's sports or whether it's music.
Oh no, we lost her.
Oh no,
What?
am I gone?
No, I hear.
Now I can see again.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think we have to really see that they're tapping into something that's very human.
Yeah.
Which is that.
Yeah, it's a biological need.
Yeah, 100%. And like, whether I'm like in church, like, praise to the Lord, or I'm like, praise, or I'm like, hey, like I'm gonna see MXPX on Saturday, and I'm super excited about that. Like this punk rock. Yeah. Like, but I mean, what is the real difference between that? And I think there's probably not as much as we think.
If anything, I would say that our sports fandoms are probably more inclusive than our church spaces because we don't really have to agree on much except that we're there to support the team. Whereas, like, there's so many things that can get you excommunicated and thrown out of your church spaces. Like, there are Dodger fans of, like, all political spectrum that will come together and different sexual orientation and different gender expression. That's like, oh, I don't care. You ride for blue? Me too.
Right. I mean, there was this, like, I think anyway, I'm not going to name them because they don't need to be named. It's Georgia. Let's get real. There was some country guy that was like very politically not where I align, and I was really sad about it because he was just like diehard Georgia stuff, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Like that's
it. And while I will agree that that space does seem like a larger, more inclusive space than church, but that in terms of, I'll push back a little bit and say that like in terms of the toxic fandom and what could be happening with divisions and how people chime in, like definitely what's happened here at UNC in terms of a coach. Well, let's talk about college football here at UNC with Bill Belichick. It brought him in with NIL money, and then like his girlfriend, and then this, and what's going on behind the scenes, and then people chiming in, and people leaving the stadium and booing. Like there's a certain thing of also money and donors and these college students, but also like, in pro sports too, like you could say like, oh, my team used to stick together. Now, like it seems to be more about like what they can make and free agency. All that kind of toxic fandom can happen within those areas too, because humans are going to human no matter what. But yeah, to see like the message boards of like when Hubert lost, and forgetting that a couple years ago he beat Coach K in his final game in the Final Four. That no one's ever. That he has two of the best wins in college basketball history at UNC, beating Coach K twice, one at their home court and in the Final Four. But yet that memory's lost when you lost that first round of March Madness. So yeah, I definitely agree that it does seem like the stadium is full of people that are more diverse and probably open than say certain church communities, but I think the fandom can be just as toxic, and money can corrupt, and the donors and who's going that stuff is still there.
Football is the worst. Like all of us think Belichick needs to get the out of here, and we're not even supporting. But I do think college football is super toxic. Like insanely toxic.
Yeah.
It's got all the isms, as I tell my students, all the isms.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's like what we try to do at Cincinnati College with our to try to have healthy conversations within the fandoms we geek out on, and to have a different kind of like rather than the gotcha videos and the ripping new ones for whatever fear and hate and toxicity sells. Yeah, I think there's room to make it healthy in sports too. I think that was the disappointing thing about whether, no matter what you feel about in terms of UNC and ACC basketball and your fandom, Hubert was a good dude who just wanted to shape young men, and I think he became a coach right during the NIL era of college sports, and it's about money and transfer and how much you're going to get and how much you win it for me now. When he got into it just to coach and shape, as he said in his own language, just want to shape young men and to be leaders and to be the best they can be in society and in life. And when that W doesn't show up, then we're kicking you to the curb. So that's a little disappointing, and I have mixed emotions about all that. But yeah, I think that's something to think about, ponder on.
You guys were good for a little second there.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yes, Jill. Let's start working at the brewery. The bar is more inclusive. Yeah, that communal experience in the bar or concerts. How does that work? I mean, I think in our church is a little different just because we're intergenerational. We're on a college campus. But can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Okay. Like I'm a little different context in terms of college campus and intergenerational church, but there's definitely like that fear of change that can really get ingrained in a community, that if something does a little different or off, or you play certain hymn wrong way, or you say something a little different, churches want young people and they want new ideas, and as soon as you introduce it, they're like, wait a minute, change. I don't want my things to change. So that can be a part of things too. And yeah, that shows up in sports. It shows up in sports.
Yeah. And
as well.
I think you said it really well. Humans are going to human. Probably majority of the country in 1948 did not want inclusive baseball, did not want to desegregate, but they did. And I've heard this really great speech Martin Luther King gave to honor Jackie Robinson. And he said, you did more for civil rights by just being who you are than I did. And you actually paved a way for me to speak to Americans and for them to listen to me. So,
sports can be agent of change too, right? Yeah, sports can be agents of change in terms of how you understand, and even with kind of the debate around kind of gender and trans athletes and those kinds of things is important as we move forward in sports and what that looks like. And even in surfing, man, my goodness, when they're like, surfing's now an Olympic sport, and they're like surfing took on like the Olympic stance on kind of how they understand trans athletes and what they want to be part of like the Olympic rules and stuff. There's a whole wing of like toxic surfers. You think it'd be laid back, chill people are like, wait a minute, what's going on? And there's a big uprising of that. It's like, but don't you want surfing in the Olympics? And like, want it mainstream, more people to see it. And yeah, but then they were fighting this other thing. So it's in every level.
I'm gonna go on a rant. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my rant. There was a woman, I'm going to put these all in quotes, and please just know everything's in quotes, who had a baby who was and I can't remember her name, and I'm sad for that, but she was a runner. She was in the Summer Olympics. She ran, like that was her thing. And they said she had too much testosterone, so she was considered a man, right?
But she had given birth.
She had given birth to a child. I just moved my drink. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, this is an insane thing. Like, people are trying to discredit her, and I'm so upset. Stuart, if you're listening, please Google this and tell me. But she won all these medals, and it was just like, well, she has this higher thing of, anyone who's taken a class in these classes know that, like, this is not a black and white issue. It's not even a yes or no issue. It is we are on a scale here of, like, the fact that I have to perpetually, pluck chin hair. What does that mean? Like, what are we? You know what I mean? Like, I just,
Yeah.
I feel. And anyway, sorry, Will. I didn't want to derail the trans thing, but I'm just like,
No, I think that's.
I don't think it's as easy as what we're making it sound in terms of sports. And I think one of those things is like, we try to make it feel like you have to be either in girls or boys sports or whatever, in whatever world that means. And I just think that, like, again, it goes back to the softball conversation. Is like, these things aren't that clear. They're not that easy. And also, that's all I'll say.
No, I think you bring up, like, there's people who are like, get your politics out of my sports. I just want to see them play ball. But like, as we've seen, how is that rational? Like, keep politics out of my Star Wars, keep politics out of my fandom, keep politics, like, what are you watching? Keep politics out of my sports. Well, there's humans and there's political things that happen that that these athletes are given a platform and to speak out or against from certain things, and so
but it's also
we'll be listening.
Let them play. Who cares? Like, who actually cares? I mean, that's the thing, that it doesn't even matter what your sort of, I would say, your hormonal code is. Like, who? I mean, I think we should all be playing. I used to fight against this when I was younger. And Joe, maybe you did too, about the baseball, softball things. Like, why can't I play? These boys aren't actually as good as we are. So why can't I play?
Yeah.
Sorry, but they're not. Like, and like, let's give it a go. Who cares? Like, what are we so freaking scared about? Okay, I'm done.
No, that's legit. Good
rant.
questions. Good question. Good rant. Approved. Resolved. Not resolved, but approved. Very, very cool. So let's shift just a little bit. All right. So, all-time favorite athletes. Are there certain players that you looked up to or still look up to today? There are some that, like we look up to any of our idols or icons or people, celebrities. We can throw pastors or leaders in there as well. We look up to. They break our hearts by making bad choices or wrong choices or harm themselves or others. But in terms of, like, who are some of our favorite athletes we grew up watching, or even now, who are we? Who are some out there that we throw out? We throw out Kelly Slater. Yeah, Google Kelly Slater. All right, we're gonna throw out some Molly Picklum, the current surf world champion. We call her Pickles. She's from Australia. Teenager. She's great.
Love it.
And then Carissa Moore. Just had a baby. She's a 5-time world champ surfer. She's an Olympic gold medalist. Just had a baby, and she's coming back on tour this year. I can't wait to watch Carissa. So go follow them on Instagram. Great follows. So, what are some favorite athletes? What do you guys got?
She made a human, so don't let her surf against guys.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait to see her come back. I love that.
What about you, Leah? Who are your favorites?
Well, typically in Georgia fandom, at least football fandom, it was Herschel Walker, which took a real turn.
Yeah.
But that was our sort of person. I mean, if I'm honest, that was our person. I would say baseball wise, probably like Greg Maddux.
It's a Braves.
Yeah.
And then I would say basketball, Larry Bird. But again, I feel like there's some sort of like, I want to really examine that, because again, I grew up in a very like white family, and I want to understand why that was such a big deal. But it was a big deal at the time, and I was in a space where I don't know. Anyway, I will put that forward and say that I want to examine that further. But yeah,
nice.
Those are probably my 3. Yeah.
I appreciate that. My all-time favorites: Muhammad Ali. I do not love boxing in real life. It's like way too violent for me, but I think he's the greatest athlete ever. I love everything about his style of competing, and then just him as a human and a humanitarian. I love Deion Sanders.
Nice.
He was also, I think,
obviously
with the Braves for a minute.
Yeah. The Braves and the Falcons. He's
Yeah.
amazing. And
We like
I do
him.
not need my black athletes to be humble. I'll like take it as arrogant, as
I mean,
confident
Neon.
as you want to be. Yeah, like those are my motivational speeches in my head. I'm like, Deion Sanders is on my shoulder talking to me. Obviously, I love Jackie Robinson. I do say to my kids, like, there's no way you're going to wear like a white man's jersey. You're not going to put a white man's name on your back, but we go hard for Freddie Freeman. I would probably let them wear a Freddie Freeman jersey.
Nice. Nice.
And Kirk Gibson too.
Awesome.
Pitcher, because I was a softball pitcher, Fernando Valenzuela, El Toro. He was just the goat when I was
asked
little.
you. Yeah. Oh, so you were a pitcher. Did you do fast pitch or did?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
That's rad.
Really rad. It's
Yeah,
rad.
it was so cool, and I was like really good. I also had an irrational confidence for my actual skill level, and then I learned to like grow into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's badass. Good job.
I love that irrational confidence.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think I grew up just a big Michael Jordan fan. You know, I know he later in life is problematic with some of the documentaries and gambling and all that kind of stuff. But you know, in terms of being from the same high school and him going to our favorite college and then watching him in the pros, there was just nothing like watching him live and following. He was the biggest. And then fun fact. Wilmington has a festival called the Zaya Festival, and my dad in 1984 was president of the Zaya Festival, and so the president crowns the queen and makes speeches and different kind of stuff. Well, he brought in that spring Michael Jordan, who was a junior at UNC and was debating whether to go pro or not, down to his hometown of Wilmington to crown the Zaya Festival queen. And I remember being in the back room and my mom meeting Michael Jordan and my mom telling him to his face, "Now you don't go pro, you stay in school. You know your mom wants you to stay for your senior year. Don't you go pro." And so, yeah, I'm glad he didn't listen to her. He went pro and became one of the best of all time. But I do remember my mom telling him, "Don't go pro. You need to stay in school. You know your mama wants you to go to your senior year." And I was like, "Oh wow." So yeah, that's K Rose. That happened.
What are the requirements for being the queen of the Azalea Festival?
I think
Would Jill and I be able to be queens of the Azalea.
I think in the past they've been
or even you will.
A, B, or C list celebrities either on soap operas or TV shows or in the national media. They bring down a celebrity and they become a thing. Yeah, I think it's maybe changed over the last 40 years since they've been doing this. My dad's been president of the Zaya Festival, but yeah, there's a whole thing. Lil Jon is playing at this Zaya Festival this year. Yeah, he's gonna be one of the artists. Yep. That's
Very
happening.
Also, in 40 years. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said, is he going to be the Azalea Queen? Is that how that works?
Could be.
Yeah. The definition of celebrity has definitely changed. Like, we maybe could get on that list.
That's right. As a pair of as a trio of geekologists who, you know, if we get 50 likes on this video,
if we get 50 likes. I'm going to make us a collective Azalea Festival queen.
That's right.
Sash, tiara, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
I just want the
and I'll call Michael Jordan, see if he'll come back and crown you 48 years later. Yeah, some of my other favorite outlets. I love following pro surfers. I really do like following. I fall in love with college athletes and then love seeing them play in the pros, and that's kind of fun to see where their career goes and follow their teams and that kind of thing. Yeah, cool.
Who's winning your bracket? Well, who's winning your boys?
Well, here we go. Yeah, good transition. All right, March Madness. So here we are.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, there you go. Good transition there. We know what we're doing. Did you guys fill out a bracket? And then who do you have winning? I'll confess that I stopped filling out brackets because over the last 5 years, 10 years, every time I fill out one, I suck at it because I do it with my heart and they always lose. Unless once every 10 years, UNC wins a national championship, and then I'm like, okay, I nailed that one. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't fill out that one this year because I would have just been toast. So anyway, there's a couple teams I'm pulling for now. I feel sorry for you that I'm pulling for you because you're probably going to lose really soon. I'm kind of pulling for Houston right now because this coach, Calvin Sampson, like he's 70, he's never won a national championship. He grew up in North Carolina, Laurinburg, North Carolina. He's been coaching since the 80s. So that story I'm kind of following to see somebody who's been in the game a long, long time if he can get his championship. And they have like a 2 seed. They have a really good road. We'll see what happens. I know I'm not pulling for Duke. A couple other teams I'd love to see what happens next. But my best friend is a Duke fan. He lives right down the road from me. I told him that if they go to the national championship, I'll go watch that game with them, and we'll see what happens.
You
But
can bring Leah along. Or...
that's right. That's right. But yeah, what about you? Did you fill out a bracket, and who do you have winning?
I did not do a bracket. A couple times we've done it in the barbershop, and I just like missed it this year. But I just pick winners. So I've got for the ladies, UConn.
Okay.
I think that their coach is I would love to see him get another win. And the men are Arizona Wildcats. Let's go.
Yeah, they're still in it. They're still in it. Okay.
My husband has the Arizona team winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you heard mine at the beginning. It was I split my North Carolina bets. I Duke for the
like
boys,
it.
North Carolina for the girls.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, my problem is I go SEC, so I put Georgia going way far. They lost like real quick, and yeah, my bias really hurt my bracket. But now I'm in real land, and feels like I'm doing okay.
And this is my favorite time of year. Like, I really do love this event. Like, there's other sporting events I really get behind, but March Madness, like, just in terms of the three, like the High Point game, the Cinderella, they beat I forgot who they beat. Oh, they beat Wisconsin, and then that coach was all fired up. And that second game they're in, I really thought they were going to win, and it was literally the best basketball game I've probably ever watched. It was close. They switched, they tied, they switched leads back and forth until like the last couple of minutes, and the other team pulled away. But it was one of the most thrilling basketball teams I've ever seen. It was so good. So yeah.
I mean, like I think like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, Mercer, who I work for, beat Duke in like a really like late game, and I think no one expected that. This is like a total liberal arts school that doesn't have money, and we absolutely lost the next game. But I will tell you that moment was a moment. Like, we're like, yes.
Yeah.
Sure, for UNC fans, they were like, yay. Love that.
We'll see. Well, the Final Four happens Easter weekend, and so part of me is kind of glad UNC's done it because we have an Easter Vigil on April 4th, and that's when the Final Four is, and the championship game on April 6th. It would have been a really tight night to have like UNC in town, and we're doing like Easter weekend, and that would cause something. So we'll see what happens with
church, right?
Huh? What's that?
Can you just cancel church?
We could say, you know what? Let's do. We're gonna do church on the quad out there at UNCC. The religious experience.
Storming for the ship. Working in a church, you can just cancel it.
You could just cancel it. Only with snow and ice.
Or they could do like the SEC and have it on the actual holy day, which is Saturday. You could do your
holy day of Saturday, the Sabbath. Well, that was fun, y'all. Any last thoughts, ideas, sports, things you're like, I wish I would have shared this about a team or an athlete or an aspect of sport that I want to throw out there? Is there something hanging out there, loose thread? We need to pull on before
I didn't mention the World Baseball Classic, which was just the most fun tournament. And I feel like it gave people a chance to see Dominican Republic and Venezuela and Puerto Rico, like these teams that we've been watching the athletes from these countries perform for our sports teams for so long, but we got to see so much more of their culture because they were all playing together, and like it was so fun. Team Dominican Republic was a party every single at bat. Like, oh my gosh, culturally it was so fun.
Love it. And we have a World Cup soccer. We have soccer coming up this summer.
We do, but I did see a meme about the baseball thing too, because the Italian team beat the American team. Because the
amazing.
Yeah, right. It was the Italian? I guess Italian Americans, but there was Italian people there too. But they beat.
There were 3. There were 3 Italian-born players, and the rest of them were like all from New Jersey.
Yeah. I saw the Instagram stuff, and I was like, this is kind of amazing. Like,
It really was. I heard them called the American JV team, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind.
Well, because they didn't make the I guess American team, and then so they went to the Italian team, and then the Italian team just beat the crap out of the American team.
Yeah,
it was very funny.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do? I guess next time, there's so much out there we can do, but like in terms of like sports betting. Like we do the March Madness brackets, but now like sports betting, fantasy leagues. I do have a fantasy football league. It's kind of like friends doing that. There's even a fantasy surf league that you could get in there. And WSL has a fantasy. If you want to, Leah, you could sign up and pick your favorite surfer.
Ready.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that could be something we talk about next time in Sports Geeks. Is like in terms of what betting does, and then also like the fantasy leagues. Jill, as a baseball fan, do you have like fantasy baseball? Do you do that?
No, I do fantasy football, but I don't do fantasy baseball.
Gotcha.
I couldn't be like objective.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned this while Jill and I were geeking out about the baseball stuff. Is Premier League. I mean, my husband's a diehard Chelsea fan. Arsenal is pretty much gonna win the Premier League. Sorry. Yeah. That's a big one too.
Man, we could also talk sports shows and sports movies. Like I'm thinking about Ted Lasso right now, since you're talking about the Premier League and another Ted Lasso. That's something we could do in the future. Favorite sports movies.
I heard nothing about soccer until I went to the UK, and then the first guy I dated, sad to Stuart, it wasn't him. Shocker.
Oh, see, the lights went out after you said that. Stuart.
No,
don't talk about Stuart.
If I don't move them, my lights in my office are on a timer, so if I don't move around a lot and just sit still, they shut off. And so I'm like, oh, no, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, so I'm a Arsenal fan as opposed to a Chelsea fan, which he is. And this is a real point of contention.
That's another side. Now you got me thinking like friends who are on different sides, rivalries, best rivalries, even within your family, a family divided. I see that sometimes around here. Family divided. One kid goes to UNC, one kid goes to Duke. What are you going to do? Thankfully, my kids went to App State and they were fine. But I will say Duke basketball. I have a hard time with Duke basketball, but I do pull for like Duke medicine, Duke research, Duke physics, Duke Heart Hospital, Duke Divinity School. Like, yeah.
No. Also, you and I have chatted about this. Don't do that. You have to be hardcore. You have to say no.
Okay.
Like UGA has a great, and do you like animals? They have a great animal facility.
Love animals. I have a new cat named Java. She's awesome.
She's amazing. We all love Java.
We do.
We love you and your cat dad era.
She's missing cat dad.
But are you now going to support Georgia because they have an amazing veterinary?
Maybe. I'll do that. I do like at Beer Camp. We were on a panel, and while Georgia's playing, and you kept like going, hey, can someone check the Georgia score for me?
I did do that.
During the panel a few times. That's good. I'll do it to say, can someone check the score? Yeah, that was fun.
And they were shouting it to me. So
they were. Super fun. Man, I could geek out with you guys anytime, anywhere, any topic. And so, yeah, as we do this outro, let's see if there's music. Oh, you hear that? Maybe a little bit.
Oh.
As you hear the outro music, we're going to remind you, subscribe, share, like. If we get 50 likes, we either going to have Michael Jordan crown Leah as his Festival Queen, or I will wear a Duke shirt on Franklin Street. And we appreciate y'all. The geek in me honors the geek in you, unless you're a Duke fan. And then we got some reconciliation to do.